time, and that we've always supported everything that is taking place here, in particular because of its focus on converts.
So tell the old world that the new world has always been and will always be waiting to be discovered.
There is no science or no knowledge in Islam that has a greater importance than al-Iman, to have the faith. In fact, having al-Iman is the greatest ni'mah of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala on His slaves. I became a Muslim about 30 years ago. I am from Atlantic City, New Jersey, born here in America. And in around 1980, I embraced Islam as a kid, as a youngster. Islam represented a form of justice. And the area where I grew up, there was a lot of injustice, racism, classism, and Islam represented a balance in all of those things. And the Muslims, they seemed to be a people who treated everyone equal, everyone just, and that was attractive to me. So I began to follow and listen and learn, and ultimately I embraced Islam. Here at Mecca, we have several classes in the different Islamic sciences. As for myself, I teach the classes which deal with al-Aqidah, or the science of Islamic belief, al-Fiqh, which deals with the Islamic rules of how to pray, how to fast, pay charity, and matters to that, as well as the science of at-Tazkiyah, or at-Tasawwuf, which is the spiritual aspect, some may say Sufism, which is the spiritual aspect of the religion that works with the inward state of the human being, not just the outward part. So these are my classes here that I teach, which are the main core classes as far as religious instruction.
My born name is David Johnson, and people call me Dawood, so Dawood Johnson. I became a Muslim in 1995 when I started practicing Islam. I started learning about Islam in college. I didn't grow up particularly religious. My family is Christian. We went to church sometimes, but we weren't forced, to be Christian or learn particularly anything. So I was just looking for something for myself to really grab onto, because I always believed in God. And I just started reading. Somebody gave me a copy of the Quran, and I read it, and it made a lot of sense to me. I used to go and talk to a person who was an imam when I was in college in Nashville, Tennessee. That's where I went to college, at Tennessee State University. And we used to go talk to him and a friend of mine after Jummah every Friday. He would tell us about Islam, slowly, and then eventually I just embraced it for myself. This particular class is Introduction to Hadith Science. But I've taken a lot of classes here. I've been coming here for about a year. I've studied Aqidah, the beliefs. We have different little seminars and stuff where we learned about prophetic medicine, all kinds of classes. So Arabic, I've taken Arabic classes here too.
So basically everything that we have here at Mecca is used from the donation money. So it's a non-profit organization, and this is where the money goes, and the classes for the students, and paying the teachers as well. And yeah, this is basically where all the money is going, and also for the space that we're using for rent. So, okay, so just put me on camera that I can't get the bread out, right? And it doesn't want to come out right now, of course. It's camera shy, it doesn't want to come out.
The end of this word, there's a tanween, right? And that tanween is telling us, it indicates to us that that word is a noun. Obviously, in the word Muhammad, it's very obvious for us. We know it's a noun already. But maybe you're reading something in the Quran, for example, and you want to know, is this a noun or is this a verb? And you can use these signs to indicate and tell you what the words actually are. al-khaft or al-jar. For example, if we look at the word Bismillahi, right? Bismillahi ar-Rahmani ar-Rahim. If we look at this word here, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, right? If we look at the Bismi, you can see there's a kasra here, right? This is in the state of al-khaft, or you can call it al-jar. So this indicates that the word ism is what? It is a noun. It's a noun. Do you see that? The same thing with Allah, obviously. If you already know it's a noun, then you don't need to look for the indications. We know that Allah's name is a noun. It's a noun. But if we look at the end of the word, we see it's in the state of khaft or jar, which the kasra indicates that state, which tells us what? That the word Allah is also a noun. And the same thing with ar-Rahman.
تم تعريف العلاقة المعقدة بين المرأة والإسلام في الكثير من النصوص والثقافات في العالم الإسلامي وفي جميع أنحاء الولايات المتحدة بما في ذلك مدينة نيويورك. تمتلك المرأة تفسيراً أكثر انفتاحاً للتقاليد الدينية ودورها في المجتمع الإسلامي.
I think of the people who believe that the Muslim women are oppressed is that they're just misinformed, and they choose not to read the truth about it and to open their eyes and to open their hearts, and so they're misinformed. I used to be that person. You know, before I thought the same thing. And after I opened the book and started reading, then I learned the truth. So they're just ignorant a little bit. I chose to wear the veil actually before I converted, because in the Bible also it says that you should cover. And at the time that I was looking into the religions, it was very deep for me. It was very, very strong, and it was my way of saying, you know, I don't want to talk to nobody. I just want to, I just need to find God right now, you know. So I had already covered my head because even in the Bible and even in Judaism, so it didn't matter which religion I chose, either way I was going to have to do it. So I just went ahead and did that part. So we have limitations on our clothing, on what we can wear. You know, something simple as you just want to throw on a shirt and some jeans and throw your hair in a ponytail and go, and you can't. And it's not easy always to just walk outside and you know, put a scarf on your head and make sure everything is covered, you know. I think that's the biggest challenge is abiding to the rules of hijab, of to cover as a modest woman.
يؤمن معظم المسلمين أنه يتعين ارتداء الحجاب في جميع الأوقات، إلا أن آخرين يؤمنون أن ارتداء الحجاب حرية شخصية.
I was born Muslim. I was born in Ghana, and the town that I come from is predominantly Muslim. I come from a pretty religious background, but I'm not sure if this is where culture kind of clashes with religious practices or religious rules. In Ghana, where I'm from, there are people who cover, but then there are people who don't cover. It's not as if you stand out, or it's not as if it's something weird for you not to cover. And I know that those people who do cover aren't judgmental. Like, you know, there's times where I've felt judged here in America, but I know that, like, in Ghana, those people who do cover aren't judgmental of those that don't. And for the most part, you're expected to wear something on your head. So not necessarily full out being covered. You're expected to wear something on your head once you're married, because that's a way of symbolizing that you're no longer single.
To have a friend who is Muslim and does not cover is, to me, the same as myself who chose to cover. I think it's I don't want to say I think it's a personal choice. It's something I'm still looking into. I'm not a scholar. And people tell me the ruling is you have to cover, but personally in my heart, I don't know that I feel it's haram if you don't cover. So this is between her and Allah, you know?
Oh,
I do this.
Sweet.
Well, you know, I don't do things because other people do things. I do this because I want to do this. You know, if I did things because other people, I would never have converted. I would have stayed Catholic. I would have stayed going out and drinking and doing the things that I was doing before. I do this because of me. I put this on because I felt like putting it on. You know, people still talk to me. Brothers still look at me. They respect me differently, and to me, this is just a badge that tells people I'm a Muslim sister. I do see the importance in it, though. I do believe it's very important. I personally think it's beautiful. I think it's very beautiful. I feel different in hijab. And to me, it reminds me of my duties, of what I need to do, you know, and it reminds you how to act in public because you constantly have it on. Basically, it is a uniform. And it is modest. So I think it's important, but I don't think it's the most important thing. I'm positive that I made the right choice to Islam because of the signs that I received the day that I chose to convert. So I asked Allah to please, I need a sign. I need something to know what am I choosing here? And I received the sign. And again, my father was very ill, so naturally it made me more in touch with God because I was losing my father. And he's helped me a lot with that. You know, Allah made it he answered my du'as always. So I feel a lot more connected to Allah now. And sometimes I don't have doubt. Sometimes I get frustrated with myself and frustrated with the limitations that we have. But alhamdulillah, I know that I made the right choice.
If there was one message I had to people who are interested in Islam, I would say that they should go out and actually read the materials and educate themselves with Islamic knowledge. I think people are quick to use the media or television and sort of just hear these sort of tidbits of what Islam is, and without really delving into the text, it's very easy to fall into the trap to think that all Muslims are terrorists or all these other sort of preconceived notions. So I guess the message would be to just go out and educate yourself and try to find a teacher that will help you learn the religion.
I would say if I have a message for anyone who's considering who's considering Islam, go to Allah only. Go within your heart and cry. If you need to cry, cry. And Allah will answer you. And whatever sign you need or whatever it is specifically for you, Allah will provide it for you. I know because it happened for me and many other people. So you do not need to speak to an imam or a sheikh or a priest or a rabbi. You need to speak to Allah. That's it. There's only one that you need to go to get your answer, and Allah will guide you and Allah will put it in your heart, and before you know it, you will see, right in front of your face what you need to do. And then when you feel the peace, you feel the peace, and you should not be afraid that you'll fail because you're not ready to wear hijab. You take your time. The most important thing is La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah and praying, Everything after that, it comes, inshallah.